Hello, I'm Will, the Nerdy Nerf Herder. Today we're working on Pokopia, working on the museum. I wanted to jump right into this gameplay, so let's get started here. So the first thing we're looking at here is the front of the museum. At the beginning of this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to toss a few things up on the front here, and then we're going to correct a couple of things here in the lobby that have kind of been bugging me since we set this up. Little tweaks as I go along. Alrighty. Let's get some pillar tops here. So I think this will make the effect a little better. Yes. Let's get 8 of them. And rise on up. So what I'm going to do is on the corners here, we're going to toss up another one of these on each of the corners. And that's going to serve as our stand for these mysterious statues that we're using like gargoyles. All right. And I'm wanting to do this at all the corners in the front here. We're going to worry about the back later. And then we'll move inside and fix a couple little things. I hate how much Pokemetal these rare Pokemetal these take to print. Um, 5 seems a little steep with just how useful they are for decorating. Now that being said, I get it. They're like, hey, this is cool, so it needs to be valuable. And then we'll go inside. And of course, we'll get that effect look here in just a moment. This and this. Put that like that. I've decided the Pokeballs need to frame the 2 wings. I think it just looks a lot better that way. And I don't have anything to stick on that pillar for right now. I'm going to magnet rise on up to the 2nd floor and pull the same switcheroo. Do that, bam. Bring out that Pokeball. Yeah, that makes me much happier. There we go. And up, yay, on the rail. And there's our Aerodactyl display from above. I feel like I didn't give enough time for that last episode. Now that we have those lamps fixed, I think it makes for a nice balcony view. The object is super. Oh, there we go. So that's that view. Now let's take another gander at that. So that's how those gargoyles end up working in there. All right. From there, we're going to start on this wing. Let's see here. Yeah, let's start with this stuff. So I've already kind of got the walls started here. going to go ahead and we're going to get that outline finished up. So this episode is not going to be as long as our last episode. I unfortunately have some personal affairs to attend early on in the day tomorrow. So we're not going to go quite as long as we did last time. But I do want to make sure we get this room done. And if that's all we have time for, that's all we have time for. We'll see how it goes. Depends on how quickly we can get this room set up. This room did have quite a few tweaks that I ended up deciding I needed to make in order for things to work out right. Um, but fortunately, I believe they're fairly easy tweaks. So now that I know what I'm doing versus the test build, it's not going to be a huge play around, but it'll be a kind of on the fly tweaking because I haven't tested it with the new layout quite yet. All right. So for that, we're going to fill in the bottom here. This is the easier section of the build. So that's kind of why I'm going to start with this section. It's real straightforward. We'll get our walls set up here. And everything will be copacetic. So again, we're using the light antique walls for our columns and our pillars here. Or the base floor, sorry. So with this one, we're not going to bother, but we will get it down here. All right, so we got 3 left. So apparently I did put them somewhere else in here. Where else did I put them? Ah, there it is. Rightio. There we go. Now to bring out our friend Pokeball Light. Our lighting solution when we need that extra glow. Because again, museums are mostly open during daylight hours, so we're getting some natural light in through the windows and the various skylights that we've put in the lobby area. So that helps. These help a little more. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this row all the way around. I know we haven't quite built this up as nice over here. And we're not going to do the top row yet. The top row is going to be the last one to go in on this build. And the main reason is we want to have some overhead access to the interior of these wall sections. And that'll all make sense there in a moment, I promise. So we got that there. Alrighty. Moving right along. So for in here, with this being an easy part of the build, I know what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and place the wall here. And while I know certain things are going to change on this, I'm going to go ahead and set it up as a base wall. And then we'll delete the spots I need to delete when we go back through. So if we can get this entire structure made on this level, I think we'll be good. So I'm going to be honest with you all here, right here. We're just going to go ahead and go 4 over. I know that there's something that's going right there, so rather than worry about it later, we'll go ahead and start it off. And like I said, this section of wall, we are going to have to do some corrections here. Alrighty. Hmm. Did I have it in the other chest? Alright, we'll figure how many spots is it? I think I know what we're doing here. Alrighty. So the other area, so we had the 4 blocks that we got rid of there. Then we're going to come here and we're going to do the same thing. And that'll all make sense, I promise. Alright. And then the other thing I think I did was this right here. That's right. We're going to get that section set up. So, right here is where we're going to do this. We're going to get rid of 2 rows, top and bottom, a 2x3. And that'll all make sense in the end. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this Poke Center top wall and fill in up here. So in theory, everything in these chests should be used in some form. Now, like I said, there are some little tweaks here. When I was doing the test build, where I would use blocks in the middle here on this part of the build, where perhaps the better idea had been to use something else. So right here, we're going to drop 3 blocks. And then we're going to come over here. 1, 2, 1, 2. And we're just going to do this on right here. And this will help with our visibility. And then we're going to go over here. And we're going to do something very similar. So this one will also be 3 high. You know what? This was... There we go. And these were legitimate Pokeballs there. Or Pokemon Center wall. Alrighty, so for this frame, again, we got to be 3 high. We're going to fill in the top here, like that. Over here, we get our Pokemon Center wall in. And I just remembered there are 2 little tools that I have to help us with our build. And I left them tucked away in a chest. And let me go get those. One tool, sorry. I didn't need 2 little tools. I only needed 1 extra. Alrighty. So let's get on back up to the 2nd floor here. And start pulling some of our other items out of the chest. So we're going to start with one of these and one of these. This. Those. Yeah, we're going to do this. I'm going to get this set up. We'll need that and that. Go ahead and use those. We'll need that and that. That. Alrighty. Everything's coming together. So to start off our build, the first thing I'm going to need to do is place some blocks. Oh no. I did not paint that. My apologies. I could have sworn I painted those. Let's fix that real quick. Thankfully, I've already summoned Smearguru to his habit, or well, his temporary housing. He's not as comfortable here as he is in his normal house. Once he gets back to his normal house, he'll be back up to awesome. Let's see, what's your comfort level? Oh, yeah, so he's at great, even in this temporary housing, sad as it is. Alrighty. So we only need to paint 2 of these. And then I'm going to need to eat a salad here soon. So, right, we need to place some blocks down. And then we're going to place 1 table here. This is our tool table. And then we're going to place 1 there. And because they join up, that gets the legs off of that. And that's going to make our handy floating shelf that I wanted to put here. We knew this salad was coming. All right. So for here, we're going to stick this trophy, and we're going to place this gold nugget, some treasure, and jeweled wall decoration. And then we need Pokemon Center wall here. And we're going to put more. Oh, come on there. Where did I have the other one set up at? Oh, well. I had two more. Let's get rid of these. And then there we go. Now we'll place... Huh. Well, shoot fire. I think I know what I did. There is a solution. I could not do it on this side. But with our display, I can do it on the front of it. Like this. Alrighty. There's what I'm looking for. And then go ahead and put our Pokemon Center wall here and here. Because I know we're going to need that. And we'll go ahead and do it here as well. And I'm going to come right here, and as we get rid of these 3 blocks. Actually, hold on. Will it? Yes, it does. Okay. Wonderful. That's what we need on that. Looking good. So for here, we're going to take one of these. And these are all 3 versions of the paintings that Smear Guru can do. We're going to finish putting our cube blocks on in. And this is why we wanted to have access to the top, because it's easier to build. All right. Let's see, now we have access to this one here. Which, that actually does need to be up a little higher. Yeah, that's right. And here's where our other building will matter. Oh, so again with that antique table trick. No, we want to get rid of that, and there's our floating shelf. All right. Heat rock, smooth rock, icy rock, and damp rock. And then we're going to frame them on in here. There we go. There's our little mineral display. Where's that Team Rocket hanging? We're going to go ahead and we're going to place that Team Rocket hanging right here. Alrighty. So first things first, let's go ahead and take our crystals and get them placed. Then we need our spaceship. Oh, we're going to stick our spaceship like that. And then right beside it, we're going to stick our little guy. And then that's where these come in. We're going to take our guy, stick our guy there. Nope, nope, sorry. Shuttle, then guy. Shuttle, and then our guy. Oh, we're going to move him. We'll wait on our guy. So this is for each one of these meteor lamps. And then we've got various planets here of various colors. So what we did here, what I did here the last time, I think we're gonna move that one for this. We're gonna move this one behind here, and then we're gonna take this one, and we're gonna stick that one there, and then here's where our guy goes. And then in goes our roof for this area of the case. Alrighty. We're almost there with this. So that's our case. Now, we need to go over this way. And right here, one to the left. Okay. And then we'll take this strength rock. And we're going to put this strength rock on display here. So we're going to go ahead and grab our arrow signs, our frame, wireless transmitter, and we'll start adding this stuff into our inventory now. I'm going to save that for the end. And because we can get rid of that, and then we're not going to need that table again. So we're going to go ahead and toss that table and the big storage in there. We'll toss these two in here for now as well, just to get them out of our way. So the first thing I'm going to put here, since we're nice and lined up there. And then we're going to get our frames here. Spaceship is going to go into this frame. And then for this frame, landscape painting. Alrighty. So here, we're going to start putting some wall decor up. And this glass window will go in. And Magnemite's going to be a key player in a lot of this part of the build. Because of how we're doing. Oh, that's not good. Alright. Fix that. Alright. You're good. We need to make sure we have that on single block selection. Alright. So in order for us to get this block placed, we're going to need one more. And this is why we can come up and get rid of that block. Alrighty. So Pokemon Center wall block, we can go ahead, we can get this top layer done. But we don't want to do the very top. Naturally, I immediately hit one of the wrong spots. And with that, since we're right here, let's frame off our painting display. Then we're going to come down here. And I'm going to get rid of this. And we're going to take that and we're just going to go back like this. So knowing that that is right there. So if we do this, you're kind of going to see in that corner there. Rather than go there, we're going to go ahead and leave that there, and we're going to hit here. And we're going to hit here. Here. And here. And then we're going to duplicate that on the other side. Well, all right. 1, 2. And just like that. So for that, we're working on our next framing. See, Pokemon Center wall block. Oh. Really helps if I put it in the right spot. All right. So we need you. Then we'll come over here. And we're going to put our EV poster there. And then we're going to come over here and our ocean poster here. Then we're going to frame it off. Alrighty. For these, I'm going to put this dance poster. And then we're going to do this oil painting poster. And those frames do help kind of guard the sides a little bit here. Then for this one, we're going to go there. We got those. That. That. And then we're going to do that. And that. And this will all make sense here. We'll go on inside here. And then to get these two set up. Oh. In theory, that would work too, but not how we want to do things today. Then we're going to get rid of this in-between block for now. Alrighty. So you notice how we've left this bottom section pretty much hollow here. And that is by design. Because now we're going to start placing these. And what this will do is this will help us with our lighting on some of this stuff. It may not seem like much at first, but I promise the effect will be worth it. Because we are leaving little tiny gaps and stuff. And that's what this bottom layer is kind of meant to be. Is these glow mushrooms. Alrighty. We got those set up. Then we come over here. And then right here, we're going to place one. And then I think we're going to get rid of that. Well, shoot fire. To get at it easier, we'll just do it this way. So we don't want to get rid of that one. That one we're going to keep. Okay. But the other one will give us just a little bit of extra light in there. As when I'll come down here, you can kind of see. It's harder to tell on that one, but you do get a nice little glow underneath here. Alrighty, so for here, where are you? Golden poster. I want to put you, because we're going to put our Greninja posters next to each other. These two here, they're going to be this acrylic poster and our watercolor poster. And now we can get those framed off. So you can see that glow. And like if you're walking through here, it's less obvious that there's a block missing right there unless you kind of do that. A little less obvious. Now the top's still kind of obvious, but I have plans for that, so we'll get there. We'll get there. Alrighty. Magnemite mode back here. So one over, one over, one over. Oh, two over. Alrighty. So now, again, our center blocks. So I'm going to do the windmill poster. We're going to do the townscape. And then we're going to do the mountainscape. Then moonlight poster. Okay, my spacing is off just a hair because of the tweaking. So if we do that, it's going to cause that problem. So we don't want to do that. However, let's see here. We can do. Let's try tweaking things like this. That's what I did. It's okay. We're okay. We'll fix this. We got one last picture to put in. And if we're really being honest here, it's not even one that I particularly think fits the exhibit. And that is this one right here. It looks more like a kid's birthday invitation than it does actual art. Oh, come on. So I think I'm going to go with keeping that one behind. As with tweaking the spacing like I did to accommodate these being together. You know what? Can we... Will it work? Nah. No. We're good. We're good. Yeah. I'm not going to mess with it. That is the setup that I have. This works. Alrighty, so we got everything placed. Now we need to frame it all. Of course, the Moonlight poster also looks like it could belong in a kid's room. You know what? Do we... Nah. Yeah, that's how we do it. We'll do it that way. I think that will be the best solution for it. That way we still have it, and maybe they'll introduce something I like better. But that way they kind of both look like they're meant highlighting kids artwork for kids. Alrighty, next thing we need. So right along here, what I thought was we'll put up some of these posters, kind of like their advertisements for the cafe. Another thing. Then we'll go right here. And now we're ready to start going into this interior. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do for this interior was figure out a way to make it a little brighter. And that's how I came up with this idea. So we're going to fill in some of these gaps here with our glow cubes. And this will help get a little bit of ambient light coming in from those corners there. And then I did that right here as well. And we're going to go right across the top here with it. You know what? Do we need it right across that? I think we can. I think this might be better served staying like that. So now, what I've got are these crystals. And we're going to put these crystals all over here. And if I have to go get more, we can get more. Let's get more. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Well, that just happened. I've never had that happen. I apologize. We just glitched right through the roof in Magnemite Rise mode. That's kind of funny, actually. Okay. I've officially placed enough items here in Pallet Town that the game is like, maybe we're struggling. To be fair, I have placed down a lot of items here in this area. Between the Haunted Mansion build being as large as it is with that basement with the underground lab, the volcano build, and the fact that I've got all 3 legendary birds, my storage unit. There's a lot of items that went into the condo. The beach houses aren't as bad. Alrighty, where do we have more crystal formations at? Alrighty, back to our storage. Alright. Storage. Crystals. I've got 3. Well, I guess that'll have to do. That's okay. Ah, I think I know where the rest of them are. I'm sitting here going, I swear I had more. I bet you the rest of my crystals are down on the first floor waiting for me to work on the fossil display. Because I wanted to tweak the ice one. 13. All right. We'll go ahead and add 3 in here. That's more likely what I'm going to use for that anyway. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, we're placing in crystals. And this helps with the glow factor here. And we glitched through the roof again. I can't believe I managed to do that twice now. I've never done that before while building. And here we are, glitching through roofs on this build. Just going to show we're glitching the game almost with how much we're putting into this pallet town. Plot those down. Get a little extra light since we can't place crystals there. We got that filled in. That's looking good. Alright, so there's a little gappage there. And there's reasons for that. Next thing we're going to grab is this power transmitter. So we need to get this power transmitter where it gets power. Alrighty. Let's try this again. Put that up there. And then we're going to come around here. Wireless transmitter. So we know that it'll reach there. And then we're going to come down here. And it should be good there. There you go. That's our space display. Nope. Alrighty. Now for that upper wall for this. And this room is almost done. We just have a few more little polished things waiting for us. And we got all of this load up. And I really don't see anything point in putting anything right there. It's really not going to add any more glow to it. That's really going to affect anything. So we're going to go ahead, since this is finally in alignment, we're going to finish this wall. So right here, I'm going to pop out of this transformation because we're right by our chest. Then we're going to pull out this stuff here. And then we're going to take away the chest. And now we're going to put in some decorations. We've got 9 of these sofas. We're going to run around and we're going to place them every so often. Yeah, we like that. Do that. And I know I want one here. Just like I know I want one here. And I know I want one here. Yeah, we can center those on the windows, and we'll go fix that on the other side too. Yeah, we're going to center this one on the window here. I think I know where that one went. This last sofa was supposed to go. No, for this one I opted. I wanted to leave this corner open here. And then this final bench will be over here. And there we go. And like I said, we've got some plants set aside to go ahead and fill up at the end. And then we'll also make some more of like the various elegant planters and stuff like that. But here is our art and space wing. Come on in, and you've got a little bit of a jewel and mineral display up here. Brought to you by Team Rocket. We got our space display, and this is one of those things where I was talking about the game kind of, which is you see that little square there for that window, glitching the crystal effect a little bit. But we got all of our planets rolling, and we got our meteor lights, our spaceships, and our space guy suits. And the crystal adds a nice glow effect. And this is what I was talking about. You've got this nice, almost blue glow to the room now from all those crystals that we placed above here. Lighting up and giving it, especially for like this underwater poster. I feel like that blue glow for the ocean poster does so nice. And there's our Eevees and our Greninjas. Which perhaps we shouldn't move. Yeah. No. No. Don't second guess myself. There we go. And that is our art wing. So I wanted to tweak the ice display. The other thing I wanted to do is I've added some wires here. And this was very intentional. These wires are going to provide us with lighting. So while I've got the stuff on me, let's go ahead, pull out some stuff here. And this is going to be to help kind of tailor up this fossil exhibit here. So the first thing I want to do, I want this Avalok table. Can we stick a crystal on the Avalok table? Nope, not going to let us. Okay. Then I know. Oh, come on. Put that there. I wanted to get this ice like a pillar effect on both sides here. That was one of the things I really wanted for this build originally, and I ran out of ice. So now we've finished that. Let's go ahead and do one more row of ice. Yeah. And then I want to take these icicles. And these icicles. So I think the effect that we want will be best suited if we put the icicles here. And there. Unfortunately, our tree does not like that placement. So what we'll do is we'll move our tree. No, don't like the tree there. Let's move our tree back one. Nobody's going to walk back there anyway. I just feel like the icicle needs to be there. Alrighty. And then I want to go ahead, since we got more of this ice. Oh, helps if I have a salad. Swap out this ice here. And I bet, while I can't stick crystals on that, we can stick these icy rocks on it. But I don't want to stick them all on it. Alrighty, that's looking much better. And of course, we can get more if we want more. So maybe do our white rough wall there. And then do another one there. We move this there. And then we'll take our Avalug table. Yeah, I think I like that. We'll move this one back up here. And we'll move this rock there. If we get rid of those two clusters, we can scooch that back and we can really pack in the crystals. But I feel like it makes it look like it's floating. So maybe that, and then put, oh, rough wall is what we want to make it look like snow had fallen there. Yeah, I can dig that. Alrighty. So the next thing I'm going to work on with this is lighting. I know lighting's not as exciting as the fossil displays, but it'll help making the fossil display a little bit easier. And that is why we didn't go another row forward. But I think we can get away with it. Let's one last tweak. Move this one here. We'll place this rough wall there. We'll move the Avalug table forward. Place the tree there. Now that we don't have that blocking. There we go. Yeah, yeah. The only thing I can think of that we may still want to do is this. Oh, it's a shame I don't have another rough wall in white at the moment. I might in the storage. And these lights are a little different than the old another light that I build later. But Ironically enough, in the test build, these lights were built after the ones I'm referring to building later. Because basically, I'm doing the test builds, tearing them down, and then letting you all see what I want to do with the tweaks I learned from the test build. Alrighty, there's our lighting. So, one of the things that I've been thinking about was how I was going to approach this section of the build. And if you recall, I kind of held off on properly lighting everything, and because I wasn't quite sure if we were going to have it set down, and we didn't swap that out. We're going to do that here soon. We're going to save that kind of towards the end. Um, yeah. So with that, that's that fossil build. That's the lighting. That's two wings completely knocked out. We've got most of the lobby knocked out. It is currently 11:43 for me. And yeah, we're moving right along. So I think next episode, this is kind of the preview, is when we'll get into this. I think I can go ahead. I may have the blocks already available to swap out. Maybe we can go ahead and swap out the flooring on that display area. So I've decided, after having worked on the test builds with the others, we can do that to nice effect. How many glowing mushroom lights can we do with what we've got? Mushroom lamps, we can do 19. Let's go for it. We'll go ahead and put these 19 mushroom lamps out, and we'll swap out that floor. How about that? And I think that will be about our ending point tonight. And then next time, which tomorrow, 10:30 p.m., Friday, in case you're watching this elsewhere, this will be Friday the 15th, will be our next stream. And I plan on going a little extra time this Friday because, like I said, I've got some stuff to take care of earlier in the day tomorrow, so I don't want to go too late tonight. But tomorrow, what I'd like to do is I would like to get the rest of the fossil displays built, as well as the interior for the other wing on the first floor completely fleshed out. So I've already built the test display on that, and I'm super excited to be putting that in. So we'll probably start with that part of the build and do the fossils last. I know the fossils are the more interesting build item, but it is also the harder build item. And I think that this next build with the other side will go a little bit faster than what I can get the fossils done. And the fossil exhibits is part of that big draw as well. And then once we get those fossil exhibits, next episode, and we'll get the first floor wings on the other side, or first floor wing on the other side knocked out. And that will leave us basically with this section of the build right here, which, if I can get it test built between now and then, we may go ahead and do, or we may end up deciding to go for a free build on it, where I start just live and I don't do a test build. Ooh. So 19 got us all but one on two of our sides. So 21 is what we need. I hate to lose the math on that, so let's return to the base and let me see if I have some more mushrooms on the agenda at the base. A couple things we can do here. We can check our lighting chest, make sure there's there's two, so we need 19. We got it. All right. So we're going to build these. We'll get these placed. And that will make everything ready to go. So one thing I am going to hit while we're doing this build is my electricity limit. And there may be a few items that I have to place. And it's going to be like, oh, there's no more point in placing any more of these. So I'm going to apologize in advance on that. But we're going to place them, and that everything should be okay. But when we get to the greenhouse section of the build, we may have to lift some of those electrical items up from our old builds, like the Peddler's Mall, as well as the abandoned lab in the Haunted Mansion. I think those will need to probably sacrifice um, some of those electronics just so we can make sure we can get everything here working. Which, speaking of which, well, I need to get away to make this one. Do we have any more? Nah, not at this time. Alrighty. So these go in here for now. Yep. It's funny, we're hitting near the end of the build, and I've got 4 dark marble flooring painted white. And when we did our last dye batch, I was like, I hope I don't have to dye any more of this. And then I ended up dyeing, I thought, way more than what we needed. So knowing that I had just enough to be able to come back over here and start to set this up is like super nice. Now the real question is, do I need to go behind here like I did some of this? No, I think we're good. Yep. Alrighty. So next episode we'll be building fossils. We got this fossil display tweaked a little bit. I think it looks a little better. I think definitely not having Avalug's face be up front and center helps. But I hope you like this fossil display. Do I have another icicle? I don't think I do. We could possibly add another icicle here at some point. Let's see, test the positioning. Oh yeah, so like if we wanted to add another icicle in here, we can still add more icicles down the road. Um, yeah, I think that's the way to go. Placing that. But there you are. Aurora's is complete. We got lighting here in this wing. We've got the top floor, both wings done, with our relic room that way with mural, using all the mysterious slabs. And then we've got our art and space wing here done, complete with glitchy glowing effects from the crystals interacting with the windows, which hopefully when they bring out the DLC, they'll increase some limits and fix some of those little glitches. I hope. But yeah, that's what we're looking at for this build so far. And like I said, here's how that glow effect turned out on those frames. I think it's worth putting the crystals inside the wall to add that little blue glow to these frames to make them pop just a little bit more. And I know that there's a little bit of gapping there, but I think the effect warrant of the glow warrants it. Thank you everyone for joining me tonight. I hope you had a fun time building with me, and I hope you will return. As always, I hope to see you Friday, 10:30 p.m. for the final building on the interior of this museum. And then I think we'll even knock down this wall and start adding. Well, we may not knock down. We may not start adding the greenhouse, but I think we'll definitely knock down this wall and we'll add in another set of elevators in here and get the entrances to the greenhouse properly running. That means we're going to get power to those electric automatic doors, and then we'll get the wall spacing correct. We'll get two more or one more elevator on each side here. So, and then we'll of course have a separator kind of floor space between them because I think that will have the best look. But yeah, I think that's what we'll do for our next episode. I'll still have to make more of this white marble floor. I know I said I ended up with 4 left, and that was pretty cool. Um, does not change that if we're going to expand that lobby area just a little bit, I'm going to need some more. So we'll go ahead and put that back in here. Woo! So we needed one more rough wall for effect, and there it is. All right. I was going to say this is where we'll stop it. So these big storage boxes will come in handy when we start doing the greenhouse build, because that's what I'll pack it into as we plot it out. Now I want to put that one rough wall white. Bam. Right there. There we go. All right. Now it's done. Thank you everyone for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you again next time.